For all intents and purposes, the U.S. under Trump is waging a multi-front war against all those who refuse to buckle under to his dictates and bow to his demands. This war is being waged economically and diplomatically, if not yet militarily, although military intervention is constantly threatened and preparation for the use of military force is being made. The Islamic Republic of Iran has been a target of U.S. imperialism since its inception in 1979 as a result of the Iranian Revolution. In Latin America, the U.S. has waged economic and diplomatic war against the socialist governments of Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro, and has relentlessly applied sanctions against Cuba. In Europe, the U.S. has attempted to economically and diplomatically isolate Russia, while in Asia, the People's Republic of China has been in the U.S. crosshairs since its founding in 1949. Of course, the U.S. has been attacking the Democratic People's Republic of Korea ever since they were forced to accept a truce in the Korean War in 1953. Under previous U.S. administrations, tensions with the countries mentioned above ebbed and flowed, but under Trump they have escalated to the point where military confrontations are now more likely than ever. Although Trump declared that he wanted to avoid foreign wars and interventions, he has in quick succession brought the world to the brink of war on the Korean Peninsula, the South China Sea, the Persian Gulf, and in Venezuela. Even though he has talked about bringing U.S. troops home from overseas, there are still boots on the ground in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. Trump's rhetoric and actions do not square. It is reported, however, that Trump is trying to rein in his more hawkish advisors, such as National Security Advisor Bolton and Secretary of State Pompeo. His fire and brimstone rhetoric is dismissed as a ploy to intimidate his adversaries and get them to the negotiating table where the U.S. can extract concessions based on threats and intimidation. Nonetheless, Trump's belligerent rhetoric and the war preparations that accompany it are a clear and present danger to the maintenance of world peace. The countries targeted by the U.S. have no recourse but respond in kind and prepare for the worst. Trump's brinkmanship thus makes it all the more likely that a tipping point will be reached in any of the areas mentioned above, leading to actual military operations. The current U.S. foreign policy will not lead to peace or the resolution of conflicts. It will only exacerbate tensions, which can quickly escalate beyond anyone's control. Diplomacy has worked in the past and needs to become the norm, not the exception, and it must be done in the spirit of mutual respect and concern for the interests of all parties involved. Unilateralism will not lead to peace, but only to the likelihood of conflict. The U.S. has to decide, not only the Trump administration, but in general, does it want to lessen international tensions or heighten them? Does it want to continue to support regional forces such as Israel and Saudi Arabia, which seek their own aggrandizement at the expense of their neighbors, or does it wish to rein them in and seek a peaceful resolution to long-standing conflicts? There is little chance that Trump's modus operandi will change during his first term, and even less so if he is reelected. His Democratic successor, if there is one, may be marginally better, but the world will only have a chance for peace if the U.S. finally accepts the fact that it no longer rules the roost, that it finally accepts the fact that it is not exceptional nor indispensable, that it is in fact just another nation like any other, each unique, worthy of respect, and responsible for their own national self-determination. The U.S. and the West in general can no longer be the sole and final arbiter of what is just and right in the world.